Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. I am kind to everyone, but when someone is unkind to me, weak is not what you're going to remember about me. Al Capone. Have you ever met someone who's super kind, always smiling, and helping others? But you just know deep down you should never mess with them. That's a chosen one. They are the nicest people you'll ever meet. But when they're pushed too far, something powerful awakens inside them. It's like a quiet lion suddenly standing up. In today's video, we're diving into 8 reasons why chosen ones are kind-hearted, but also the most dangerous when provoked. You'll see their dark side, not in an evil way, but in a powerful, protective way. They're not scary because they hurt people. They're scary because they know their strength, and they choose not to use it unless they really have to. And trust me, that's the kind of power you don't want to test. So if you've ever been the quiet one in the room, the kind one who gets overlooked, or the peacemaker who holds it all in, this one's for you. Stay till the end, because you might discover that your dark side is actually your greatest strength. Hit that like, drop a "I'm a chosen one" in the comments to join our community, and don't forget to subscribe. We show love, we spread light, but we also stand tall when it's time. Let's go deeper. Some people think that being quiet or calm means someone is weak or scared, but that's not always true. In fact, the calmest people are often the strongest. They've just learned how to control their feelings instead of letting their feelings control them. Chosen ones are known for their peace. They don't yell, they don't fight, and they don't try to prove anything to anyone. That's not because they can't fight. It's because they've already learned how to win battles without saying a word. In life, it's easy to get angry. When someone insults you, lies about you, or treats you badly, the first thing most people do is react. They yell back, fight, or try to get even. But chosen ones have learned to pause, to stay still. They know that not every battle is worth fighting. Here's the powerful part. Just because they stay calm doesn't mean they don't feel anything. Oh, they feel everything. But instead of letting those feelings explode, they hold the storm inside and choose peace. That's true strength. And here's the hook. When a chosen one does finally react, it's not loud, messy, or out of control. It's clear, it's powerful. It's the kind of response that shakes people because it's not emotional, it's intentional. Their storm is not wild, it's planned, it's focused, and it's always about truth, justice, and protecting what matters. People who can stay calm during chaos aren't weak. They are warriors in disguise. They've faced so much in silence that nothing can shake them easily anymore. That's not weakness, that's emotional mastery. So next time you see someone who's quiet and peaceful, don't underestimate them. They're not backing down, they're just choosing when and how to rise. And when they do, it's unforgettable. Chosen ones are often the kindest, most understanding people you'll ever meet. But behind that gentle smile, there's a story, actually many stories. You see, they carry more pain than they show. It's not just about one bad day or one tough experience. It's layers and layers of hurt that have been pushed down, one after the other, over time. They don't always talk about it. They don't cry in front of others. They just keep going, helping people, loving deeply, staying kind, even when their own heart is tired. This pain doesn't always come from this lifetime either. Many chosen ones feel like their souls are older, like they've been here before. The pain they carry feels ancient, like it's been passed down or carried from past lives or generations. They often feel things more deeply than others do. A small insult can feel like a deep wound. A betrayal can feel like 1,000 knives, but instead of becoming bitter, they stay silent. Instead of fighting back, they go quiet. Not because they don't care, but because they care too much. That silence builds up over time. Every time they're hurt, every time someone walks away, every time they forgive but are still broken inside. It adds to the weight they carry. Most people never see it, but it's there. And here's the powerful part, that silence doesn't stay silent forever. One day, it transforms, it becomes something fierce. Not angry in a wild way, but strong in a sacred way. It becomes sacred rage in the kind of energy that protects truth, demands justice, and no longer allows disrespect. Chosen ones don't explode in hate, they rise in power. When you see them standing up for themselves after being silent for so long, it's not weakness turning into anger, it's wisdom turning into strength. That's why you should never underestimate someone who's always been quiet. Their silence has depth. And when they finally speak, the world listens. Some people think that when someone stays quiet, it means they've lost, that they're scared, weak, or don't know what to say. But with chosen ones, that silence doesn't mean surrender. It means strategy. They're not staying quiet because they have nothing to say. They're silent because they're thinking, watching, learning. Chosen ones are not quick to speak or fight back. That's not because they're afraid, it's because they value their energy. They know that not everything deserves a reaction, not everyone deserves access to their spirit, and not every battle is worth the fire they carry inside. While others are yelling, defending, or trying to prove themselves, chosen ones are sitting back and observing. They're reading the room, feeling the vibe, and deciding whether the person or the situation is even worth responding to. It's like a chess player. They don't rush, they study the board, they look at every move, and when they finally act, it's powerful, smart, and right on time. Here's what people get wrong. They confuse silence with weakness. But in truth, silence is a powerful tool. It gives space to think. It keeps emotions under control. It allows the chosen one to stay centered, even in chaos. Some may think, oh, they're backing down. But inside that silence, something greater is happening. The chosen one is deciding, is this worth it? Is this person even ready for my truth? Or should I just protect my peace and walk away? And when they do speak, it's not out of anger, it's out of clarity. It's a decision, not a reaction. That's what makes them dangerous, not in a harmful way, but in a wise and powerful way. They don't waste time on small talk or drama. They speak when it's necessary. They act when it truly matters. So remember this, a quiet chosen one isn't losing the fight, they're choosing the battlefield. Chosen ones have hearts like open skies, wide, warm, and full of light. They see pain in others and don't turn away. Instead, they walk toward it. They sit with broken people, they listen, they comfort, they give without asking for anything in return. They're the kind of people who will stay up just to make sure you're okay. They'll carry your pain like it's their own. Even when they're hurting, they'll still try to heal someone else. But there's a side of them that most people don't see until they're betrayed. You see, chosen ones love deeply, but that love is built on trust. They may forgive easily, but they don't forget. And if someone breaks that trust, something inside them shifts. They don't scream, they don't get revenge, but they change. That's when you realize they weren't just soft, they were strong, choosing softness. All the times they were gentle, that was a choice, a powerful one. But if you hurt them, you awaken something different something ancient, a part of them that's been hiding for years. It's like unlocking a door that was meant to stay closed. This doesn't mean they become cruel. No, they become clear. The love that once overflowed becomes distant. The kindness that used to feel endless becomes quiet. They don't fight you, they just step back. And that's when it hurts the most, because when a healer withdraws their love, you feel the space they used to fill. That's their power. They can heal, but they can also walk away and let you face your own wounds. Not out of hate, but out of wisdom. Out of knowing that their love is sacred, and if it's not honored, it won't be wasted. So if you're lucky enough to be loved by a chosen one, protect that love. Because once it's gone for good. And when they stop healing others, they start healing themselves. And that's when they become unstoppable. Chosen ones are some of the most forgiving souls you'll ever meet. They understand pain because they've lived through it. That's why they give second chances, even when others say they shouldn't. They believe in people's potential to change. They don't judge quickly. Instead, they wait, they listen, and they try to see the bigger picture behind someone's actions. You could lie to them once, disappoint them twice, and they might still give you another chance, not because they're foolish, but because their hearts are full of hope. They want to believe that people can rise above their flaws. But even the kindest hearts have limits. There's a quiet line with chosen ones, a line you may not see at first because they don't speak about it. It's not written down or loudly defended, but it's there, sacred and firm. And once you cross that invisible line, that sacred boundary, something changes forever. You won't hear yelling. You won't see a dramatic explosion. There will be no revenge plan, no need to ruin your name. That's not their way. Chosen ones don't fight fire with fire. Instead, they go silent, not out of weakness, but because they've made a final decision in their spirit. You no longer belong in their world. This is the part that stings, because you don't just lose a person, you lose someone who truly cared. You lose the one who showed up when no one else did, who believed in your light even when you were covered in darkness. And now they're gone, completely. No hate, no drama, just distance. You become invisible in their universe. It's not meant to punish, it's a form of protection. Chosen ones understand that energy is sacred. Once you prove that you'll misuse it, they cut the cord with quiet dignity. They don't make speeches, they don't slam doors. They simply disappear from your world and you from theirs. The truth is, their forgiveness was never weakness, it was grace. But grace is a gift, not a guarantee. And if someone abuses that gift, the door gently closes, and it doesn't reopen. Chosen ones know that holding on to what's hurting them doesn't make them stronger. Letting go does. That's the moment they choose peace over chaos, healing over history, future over past. You may never even know the exact moment it happened. One day, you're in their life. The next, you're a memory. Not because they stopped caring, but because they started caring about themselves more. Kindness doesn't mean being walked on. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting your worth. And love doesn't mean keeping those who keep breaking you. Chosen ones are forgiving until you cross a sacred boundary. After that, it's not revenge, it's release. And in that release, they rise higher than ever before. Chosen ones have a special kind of strength, not the loud kind, but the silent kind. They walk through chaos with a calm face, as if the noise around them doesn't shake them. But inside, they feel everything. They absorb tension. They carry the weight of rooms filled with unspoken emotions. They sit with people's pain, anger, lies, and confusion, all without saying much. They've been doing this for years. It's their gift, but also their burden. People bring them problems because they feel safe. People push them because they seem unshakable. And chosen ones take it all in, quietly, patiently, without complaint. But make no mistake, just because they carry chaos well, doesn't mean they are empty inside. In fact, they are full of truths they haven't spoken yet. Here's where people get it wrong. They think silence means agreement. They think if a chosen one doesn't react, it means they're blind or weak. But in reality, they're just waiting, watching, choosing the right moment. And when that moment comes, when the line is crossed, the lie goes too far, or the wound cuts too deep. That's when the quiet one speaks, and when they do, it's like a tidal wave. Truth comes out, fast and fierce, and it shakes everything. They don't scream, they don't insult, they don't try to destroy you. They simply speak the truth you weren't ready to hear, the truth you thought they didn't know. And that truth, it's sharper than any sword. It exposes what's been hidden. It breaks the fake peace. It flips the story. It reveals every masked intention, every secret motive. And once that truth is out, there's no going back. You see, chosen ones don't fight with fists. They fight with facts, with clarity, with soul-cutting honesty. They don't aim to hurt. But when you push them to that edge, when you mistake their stillness for stupidity, What comes next can tear through your world like lightning across the sky. They'll speak in a way that makes you feel everything they've been carrying in silence. And you'll realize they were never ignoring you. They were holding back. So understand this. The calm ones aren't weak. They're deep. They're aware. They're absorbing every word, every action, every energy. And when the time comes, they won't argue. They'll unleash truth that leaves nothing the same. That's the power of a chosen one. They don't explode randomly. They transform pain into clarity. And when they finally speak, they don't just end the chaos. They rewrite the story. Chosen ones are quiet observers. They don't always speak first. They don't always argue back. But don't mistake their silence for not knowing. Behind those calm eyes, their minds are working like lightning. They see everything. Not just what you say, but how you say it. The shift in your tone, the hesitation in your voice, the way your eyes move when you're hiding something. Most people are focused on the surface, but chosen ones, they live beneath it. They've seen too much, they've felt too deeply, they've been lied to, betrayed, tricked and tested over and over, so now they just know. They can smell manipulation before the first lie even leaves your lips. They may smile, they may even act like they believe you, but deep inside, they're already 3 steps ahead. They're reading you like a story they've already read before. That's the scary part. While someone is trying to play games, chosen ones are calmly watching, not reacting, just calculating. They don't explode, they don't call you out right away. They give you space to keep talking, to keep pretending, but they're taking mental notes. And the moment you think you've fooled them is the exact moment they've already figured you out. This insight doesn't come from books, it comes from pain. Chosen ones have been manipulated by people they loved. They've trusted the wrong hands. They've believed in the wrong hearts. And that taught them the hardest lesson. Truth isn't always in words, it's in energy. That's why even the best liars struggle with them. Chosen ones don't just listen to your words, they feel your intentions. You can't fake that. No mask is strong enough to block what their spirit already knows, and yet they don't always speak on it. Sometimes they let you keep pretending, they let you dig your own hole, because for chosen ones, the truth always reveals itself, or with time. They don't need to chase it, they just wait. And when the truth finally comes to light, they're never surprised. They saw it coming long before it arrived. That's what makes them dangerous. Quiet way. They won't argue, they won't expose you right away, but they'll walk away at the perfect moment, leaving you confused, wondering how they knew. The truth is, they always knew. They were just giving you the chance to be real. And when you chose the game, you lost their trust forever. So next time you meet someone who seems calm, kind and quiet, don't assume they're naive. That quiet soul might be a chosen one. And if you try to lie, manipulate or deceive, you'll find out too late. They already saw through you. Chosen ones are known for their kindness. They have a natural ability to care, to give, and to love unconditionally. But what most people don't realize is that their kindness isn't automatic. It's not something that just comes out of them because that's how they're built. It's something they consciously choose every single day. They choose kindness because they believe in the power of peace. But unlike others, their peace doesn't come from weakness or being passive. It comes from something far stronger, restraint. They've seen the fire inside them. They've felt the anger, the rage, and the raw power that burns when they're pushed too far. They know exactly what they're capable of when their emotions are unchecked. They could easily hurt others with their words, with their actions, or even with their silence. They've been to the edge, and they've seen what happens when they let their anger control them. And so they choose peace instead. They restrain themselves because they understand the consequences of unleashing their inner fire. This is where their true strength lies, in knowing what they could do but choosing not to. They've mastered their emotions in a way that most people can't even imagine. While others might react instantly out of anger, frustration, or fear. Chosen ones take a step back. They breathe, they think. They understand that kindness doesn't mean being a doormat or letting people walk all over them. It means choosing to respond with calm, even when chaos is screaming for attention. It means knowing they could fight, but choosing to walk away instead. The fire that they carry inside them isn't something they ignore. It's not something they suppress forever, but they know it's a force of nature. And when they choose peace, it's not because they've given up. It's because they know their limits. They understand that their words, actions, and even their silence can either build or destroy. And so they choose to build. They choose to rise above the petty, the hurtful, and the loud. They choose peace because they understand it's more powerful than any rage they could unleash. When you see a chosen one choosing peace, remember this. It's not because they don't have the fire, it's because they do. They could set the world ablaze if they wanted to, but they choose not to, not because they're weak, but because they know better. They know that restraint is a power far greater than reaction. It's a choice they make, day after day, to rise above, to heal, and to be the calm in the storm. So when they choose kindness, it's not a default setting. It's a conscious decision to create peace in a world that needs it most. Chosen ones don't need to shout to make their presence known. They don't have to raise their voices, wave their hands, or demand attention. Their energy does all the talking. There's something about them that shifts the atmosphere as soon as they walk into a room. It's like the air changes. People feel it, even if they can't explain why. You've probably met someone like this before. Someone who doesn't have to say a word, but you just know they're in control. You know they're not someone to mess with, even if they're sitting quietly in the corner. That's the power of a chosen one. They don't need to prove themselves with loud words or dramatic gestures. Their presence is enough. They can walk into a chaotic situation, and without saying anything, they can immediately make it feel calmer, more focused, or even tense. It's not magic, and it's not coincidence. It's the energy they carry. When chosen ones are provoked, their vibration alone can be unsettling. It's like their soul has a certain frequency that others can't ignore. When that energy shifts, it's clear things just changed. And for anyone who's trying to challenge them or push them too far, that energy can become overwhelming. What makes this so powerful is that it's silent. There's no loud confrontation. There's no need for anger to fuel their power. It's not about being the loudest or the most intimidating in the room. It's about being so sure of who they are and so grounded in their own energy that they don't need to prove anything. Their power is silent, but it's felt by everyone around them. This kind of presence comes from self-awareness. Chosen ones know who they are and they know their worth. They don't need to compete or prove themselves. They're confident in their strength and their purpose, which makes them even more magnetic. And when they're pushed too far, they don't explode. Instead, the tension in the room becomes palpable. It's like you can feel the change in the atmosphere. The air gets thicker, colder, and everyone can sense that something is about to happen, even if they don't know exactly what it is. That's the beauty of their power. They don't have to fight loud. They don't need to scream or shout to get their point across. Their energy speaks for them. It's a quiet force, but one that can change everything in an instant. When you push a chosen one to their limits, you'll find that it's not the words they speak that shake you. It's the way their presence alone makes you realize they don't need to fight. Their energy has already done the work. It's the ultimate sign of their power, calm, collected, and undeniably strong. Chosen ones have gone through something few people truly understand: shadow work. They've spent years confronting the parts of themselves that others avoid. The darkness within them, the pain, the fears, the regrets. They've faced it all head on. They didn't run from their demons. They danced with them. They took the time to understand their flaws, their weaknesses, and their darkest emotions. Instead of letting these parts control them, they learned from them. They learned to embrace their shadows, and in doing so, they became stronger. This process wasn't easy and it wasn't quick. It took years of self-reflection, healing, and growth. But it was through this work that they built their spiritual strength. Most people are afraid of their darkness. They hide it, suppress it, or try to ignore it. But chosen ones know that true strength comes from accepting all parts of themselves, even the dark ones. They understand that without their shadow, they wouldn't be complete. By acknowledging their fears and insecurities, they transform them into wisdom. This process is what arms them spiritually. It's what gives them the strength to face life's challenges without crumbling when life gets tough. When someone provokes a chosen one, they don't react like others might. They don't lose control or break down. Instead, they stand firm. They've already faced their darkest moments, so nothing you throw at them can break them down. Instead, they become even more powerful. The anger, the hurt, the fear that might have once controlled them, it's no longer a threat. It's a part of them, and they know how to channel it into strength. They transform into warriors, spiritually armed, and ready to face whatever comes their way. What makes them even more formidable is the fact that they don't need to fight with physical strength or loud words. Their real power comes from the deep inner work they've done. Their ability to stay calm and collected in the face of adversity comes from the understanding that they are whole. They have accepted the darkness and the light within themselves, and that makes them unstoppable. So, when you provoke a chosen one, you're not just dealing with someone who's lived through difficult experiences. You're dealing with someone who's conquered their own inner battles and emerged stronger. They're not just surviving, they've transformed that pain into something powerful. It's a quiet strength, an inner calm that radiates confidence and resilience. And when life challenges them, they don't crumble. They rise, knowing that they are armed with the strength of years of shadow work. They've already fought their hardest battles within. And now they are ready to face whatever the world throws at them with the power of a warrior who has nothing left to fear. Chosen ones possess something truly extraordinary: emotional intelligence. This ability allows them to understand, manage, and express their own emotions while also understanding the emotions of others. They're not only in tune with their own feelings, but also have a remarkable ability to read people, understand their motives, and feel the energy in a room. Because of this, chosen ones know exactly how to navigate any situation. They're able to diffuse tense situations, offer comfort, and connect with people on a deeper level. But while their emotional intelligence makes them incredible at building relationships and understanding others, it also gives them a hidden, dangerous power: the ability to use words like a weapon. They'll never need to raise a fist or physically fight to defend themselves. Chosen ones understand that words hold incredible power, and because they've mastered the art of emotional intelligence, they know how to use those words with surgical precision. They don't speak rashly, and they don't get caught up in the heat of the moment. Instead, they choose their words carefully, weighing every syllable before they speak. This gives them an edge in every interaction. They know what to say and how to say it in a way that can completely shift the dynamics of a conversation. When provoked, their words can dismantle your entire ego. They don't need to shout, yell, or attack. They simply speak, and their words cut to the core of the issue. Because they understand your emotions so well, they can pinpoint your vulnerabilities with ease. They don't have to expose you for your weaknesses. They can make you realize them yourself. Their emotional intelligence allows them to craft sentences that hit right where it hurts, but they do it with calmness and control. It's this quiet, deliberate power that makes them so dangerous. The reason their words are so effective is because they know what you value, what you fear, and what will make you question yourself. They know the deepest parts of human nature, and they use that knowledge to speak directly to your ego. It's not about being cruel or hurtful. It's about delivering the truth with precision. And for those who don't see it coming, it can feel like a punch to the gut. The emotional damage is real, and sometimes the scars left by a chosen one's words last longer than any physical wound. But this isn't something they do lightly. They choose their moments carefully, using their emotional intelligence to know when it's appropriate to speak and when it's best to stay silent. They don't use their words for petty arguments or to manipulate others. They speak with a purpose, to either bring understanding, restore balance, or defend themselves when necessary. In the end, chosen ones are dangerous not because they are violent, but because their emotional intelligence gives them the ability to wield words like weapons. They know how to break down walls and egos with a few carefully chosen phrases, and when they do, it's never in a way that feels like an attack. It's simply the truth, spoken with clarity, precision, and the kind of emotional wisdom that can leave a lasting impact. Chosen ones have a unique quality. They've been through the fire. They didn't simply endure hardships or face challenges, they were forged in them. Their lives haven't been easy, and they've walked through storms that would have broken most people. But unlike others, who might have emerged from these trials with scars or bitterness, chosen ones emerge stronger, wiser, and glowing. They've taken the worst that life could throw at them and turned it into fuel for their inner strength. When they say they've been through hell, they aren't exaggerating. Whether it was personal loss, betrayal, or suffering, they've seen the darkest parts of life. But instead of being crushed, they transformed. The fire that was meant to burn them, that was meant to destroy them, instead became the forge that shaped them into something indestructible. They became warriors, not because they fought with swords or fists, but because they fought with their spirit. They learned to rise again and again, no matter how many times they were knocked down. Now they fear nothing. Life may try to throw them back into the fire, but chosen ones don't shrink away from it. They don't cower or run in fear. In fact, they embrace it. You see, fire can destroy or transform, and chosen ones have already been through that transformation. They've already emerged from their trials stronger than ever. So when life tries to burn them again, all it does is feed the flames. It only adds more fuel to the fire that powers them. The fire that others might fear is their element. It's what made them who they are today. They don't run from pain, loss, or fear because they know they can survive it. They've done it before. The flame doesn't weaken them, it only strengthens them. Every time they're tested, they come out more resilient, more powerful, and more determined to face whatever comes next. The most dangerous thing about chosen one is their complete lack of fear. They've been to hell and come back stronger, and there's nothing left that can shake them. They know their own power, and they know that whatever life throws at them, they can handle it. If anything, the fire just makes them burn brighter. They are no longer fragile or afraid. They've been forged by the toughest experiences, and that's made them unstoppable. So if you ever think you can break a chosen one by pushing them into the fire again, think again. The fire doesn't consume them, it empowers them. What was meant to burn them only makes them burn hotter. The more you try to destroy them, the more they rise, glowing, stronger, and ready for whatever challenge comes next. Chosen ones stand apart from the crowd in one crucial way. They know who they are. They've spent years, if not lifetimes, facing their inner demons and confronting the parts of themselves that most people are too afraid to acknowledge. They've walked through their darkness, faced their fears, and made peace with every part of their being, even the flaws, insecurities, and past mistakes that others would rather hide. Through this deep self-awareness and inner work, they've come to understand their purpose in life. They don't need anyone else's approval, validation, or guidance to know who they are and what they're meant to do. This level of self-awareness and confidence is terrifying to those who haven't done the same kind of inner work. People who are still struggling with their identity, their purpose, or their place in the world often find it hard to relate to someone who is so grounded and secure in who they are. Chosen ones have embraced their truth, and that makes them powerful in a way that can't be ignored. They don't follow trends, seek validation, or bend to societal pressures. They know their worth, and they don't feel the need to prove it to anyone. This is precisely why they are so difficult to control. You can't manipulate or sway someone who has already faced their demons and come out on the other side stronger and wiser. They don't live in fear of rejection or failure because they've already been through the worst and survived. Their confidence is built on the foundation of their own personal growth, not on external validation. They don't rely on others to tell them who they are or what they should do. They've already figured it out for themselves. In fact, the more you try to control or manipulate them, the more they will resist. Chosen ones have learned the hard way that they don't need to seek permission to be who they are, and anyone who tries to make them conform will only face resistance. This resistance isn't a matter of rebellion, it's a matter of self-preservation. They know their purpose and they're not about to let anyone derail them from their path. This self-awareness is what makes them so dangerous. It's not about their physical strength or even their intellect. It's about the unstoppable force that comes from someone who knows exactly who they are and what they're meant to do. When someone knows their worth and their purpose, nothing and no one can shake them. They're not afraid of anyone's opinion and they don't need anyone's approval to move forward. So if you try to control a chosen one or make them fit into a box, you'll quickly find that it's impossible. They've already made peace with who they are, and that's something you can't take away from them. And that knowledge, that certainty, is what makes them not just powerful, but terrifying to anyone who tries to control or manipulate them. When you've faced your demons and come out victorious, there's no force in the world that can hold you back. In a world where many people go through life on autopilot, just going through the motions without questioning their choices, actions, or the way they live, chosen ones stand out. They are rare, not just because they've achieved extraordinary things, but because they've chosen to live with a level of intention and awareness that most people never even consider. They don't float through life like many others do, letting circumstances dictate their path. Instead, they actively choose every thought, every action, and every boundary they set. This level of conscious living is not only rare, but it is also incredibly unpredictable. Most people live their lives based on habits, societal norms, and external expectations. They might find themselves reacting to situations rather than making deliberate choices, often driven by emotions, stress, or the pressure of the world around them. They're like cars on a highway, stuck in the same lane, going wherever the road leads. They might be cruising along, unaware that they have the power to change direction, speed, or even stop. This autopilot lifestyle is familiar and comfortable to many, but it's also limiting. It prevents people from seeing the bigger picture or recognizing the full scope of their own potential. Chosen ones, on the other hand, live intentionally. They are constantly aware of their choices and the impact those choices have not just on their own lives, but also on the people around them. Every thought they entertain, every decision they make is not done lightly. They don't just react to the world around them, they actively shape their world with their actions, their beliefs, and their boundaries. This level of self-awareness is rare, and it's what sets chosen ones apart from the average person. This conscious living is a gift, but it also comes with a certain unpredictability. Because chosen ones are not bound by the same predictable patterns or societal rules as others, their actions and responses can be difficult to predict. They don't follow a script. They write their own. They trust their instincts, trust their inner wisdom, and they aren't afraid to go against the grain when necessary. This unpredictability is what makes them so fascinating and at times even intimidating to others. You can't guess what they'll do next because their decisions are not based on what's expected, but on what feels right for them in the moment. The true power of chosen ones lies in this ability to create their own path. They don't let life just happen to them. They take control, shaping their destiny with every decision they make. They understand that their thoughts are powerful. They know that what they focus on becomes their reality. So they choose their thoughts carefully. They choose positivity, growth, and progress. They choose boundaries that protect their peace and their energy. And in doing so, they create a life that is uniquely their own, one that is far from ordinary. Chosen ones embody a powerful force of righteousness that is often misunderstood by those who are unfamiliar with their inner strength. They don't respond to every slight or frustration with fury. They don't lash out impulsively or for the sake of getting attention. Their wrath is not reckless, nor is it driven by ego or pride. Instead, their anger rises only when justice has been denied, when they witness wrongdoing or oppression that cannot go unanswered. This is not a simple reaction. It is a deliberate, calculated response to ensure balance is restored. Many people, when provoked, respond with unchecked emotions. They allow their feelings to dictate their actions, acting out of frustration, jealousy, or hurt. This often leads to impulsive decisions, reckless behavior, or regrettable actions that don't address the real issue at hand. For chosen ones, however, their anger is a force of purpose. It doesn't flare up out of trivialities or petty concerns. Instead, it is ignited by a deep moral conviction. The understanding that when things are out of balance, they must take action to restore it. This is not about seeking revenge or indulging in destructive emotions. It is about making sure that what is wrong is righted. When a chosen one's wrath does surface, it carries the weight of justice and truth. It's a righteous force that cuts through the confusion and restores order. They don't act impulsively, but instead, they plan their response carefully, with precision and clarity. The result? Balance is restored and the situation is put back into harmony. It is a powerful reminder that some conflicts require more than just words or gestures. They require action driven by integrity, wisdom, and the courage to stand for what is right. Unlike those who act out of anger to seek attention or vent their frustrations, chosen ones only step into their wrath when it is necessary to protect what is sacred. They don't seek to destroy but to build and repair. Their actions may be fierce, but they are never reckless. Every move is calculated, every word spoken with purpose. They understand the gravity of their power and, as such, choose to wield it sparingly and only when absolutely required. When a chosen one is provoked, it is not just an emotional reaction that takes place. It is the channeling of divine energy. They don't allow themselves to be carried away by the moment or by anger. Instead, they tap into a deeper, sacred power, aligning themselves with something much greater than mere human emotion. Their purpose becomes clear, and their actions reflect a higher calling, one rooted in the desire to restore balance and justice to the world around them. The difference between a typical reaction and the divine response of a chosen one lies in the focus and intention behind it. Where most people may react impulsively, driven by frustration or hurt, the chosen one responds with purpose. They are not just acting on instinct or emotion, they are channeling divine energy to correct the imbalance, to heal the wounds of the world, and to realign what has been corrupted. This is not about seeking retribution, but about restoring order, a powerful force for justice and truth.